Now Jesus, since he is a kind and gentle teacher, even though he knows their intent is just to trap him, he uses it as an opportunity to teach anyway. And I suspect not really to teach the Pharisees, it's probably to teach the other people that are present, that are just observing this whole thing. So he says to them, which of you who has a sheep, if it falls into a pit on the Sabbath, will not take hold of it and lift it out? Of how much more value is a man than a sheep? So it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath. Then he said to the man, stretch out your hand. And the man stretched it out, and it was restored, healthy like the other. But the Pharisees went out and conspired against him how to destroy him. So it's sad that because of their obsession with the Sabbath, the Pharisees really have no idea what the whole purpose of the Sabbath is. See, God designed man. He knows how we work. He knows that our bodies physically need to rest or they'll break down. Same as an animal. An animal needs to rest. So he gave us 1 day in 7. Even for the fields, the Lord dictated that when you're farming a field, every 7th year you have to leave it alone. Don't farm it. Because if you do, you're just going to suck all the nutrients and minerals out of the ground and you won't be able to farm it at all. So what God ordained all the way back in Genesis and through Leviticus, modern science today has just confirmed it's true, and that's why we rotate crops. So the Sabbath is about rest, and it's so crucial to the Jewish culture. They greet each other with Shabbat Shalom, which means have a peaceful Sabbath, which is terribly ironic because you can have no peace without Jesus. Matthew's a Jew by birth. So there's a reason when in his narrative he put all these confrontations immediately after the passage we read last week. Now if you remember last week, if the Sabbath is indeed about rest and about abiding in God, then Jesus truly is the Lord of the Sabbath, because he says, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is perfectly fitted for you, eternally useful, lovingly kind and good, and my burden is light. The yoke that the priests were putting on their followers was so burdensome that you weren't even allowed to pluck a grain of wheat, and you couldn't heal a crippled man even if it was in your power to do so on the Sabbath. In contrast, the Lord of the Sabbath yoke is perfectly fitted for you, eternally useful, lovingly kind, and good. And if we come to him, he will give us rest.